Good afternoon. This is Tamrad Madan from Little Ethiopia, co-hosting with celebrity photographer Patricia McDougall, but she's not going to be here today. But she will have other guests who will speak after we finish. In about 50 minutes, we will start the celebration of the Pan-African victory celebration of the Battle of Adwa of 1896, where Ethiopians successfully defeated an Italian army, asserting their rights to be sovereign states and helping the Pan-African movement in the world. Today, we have Sergeant Ashenafi with us, sitting in the center, who has been helping us for the last 12 wreath-laying ceremony in front of the African-American Civil War with us. And we have also one of Little Ethiopia's ambassador, Matt Andrea. Matt will be speaking, he's gonna speak on various things, including his visit to Ethiopia. He was there for about a month. And also a brief statement about a couple of other events he was involved with, including yesterday evenings about a special event of the royal event there. So I'm gonna start with Sergeant to say hello. Go ahead and say hello. All right, he's just saying, he's expressing his, I'm sorry, what's the word I can say? Saying hello in Ethiopian language. Now, I'm going to leave the floor to Ambassador Mas Andrea. Go ahead and speak.
Well, I'm not going to focus, at least initially, on Adwa, but that is a big focus this weekend because this is the anniversary of that great battle in Ethiopia. But 2 weeks ago, there was a very fun and exciting event at the district building called A Touch of Ethiopia. And if you could cue up the pictures that I brought, that would be helpful so people can have some visuals of what this event was about.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Continue. You're going to send us some pictures, please. Yeah.
The organizers of this event were Tim Reed, the African-American actor and film producer, T.G. Usman, and Fasika Ngusi, who's shown in this picture here, a very good friend of mine. And among other things, they had a traditional Ethiopian coffee ceremony and gave Ethiopian coffee to all the participants. Another of the organizers was Salome Arolino, who was in that previous picture. Well, this is them all together with Almaz Getahun, who's been a very active participant in Ethiopian events and a big supporter of Little Ethiopia as well. That's Fasika again in her very traditional Habesha dress. This is Salome. She's been a model. She's a producer, a promoter, a very talented person. She also has a line of men's cologne that she's recently introduced called Salome. And one of the sponsors of the event was Habesha beer, which is a relatively new Ethiopian beer, which is now being distributed in the DC area. And it's actually very tasty beer. I don't mind putting in a little commercial for them. I had an exhibit of my photography at this show, and here are just a few of the 35 pictures that I exhibited. And the purpose of showing these pictures is really to show people that Ethiopia is really an amazing and beautiful country with a lot of cultural heritage. At the end of the program, people were dancing and having a great time, so that's what the last picture was. And wanted to keep it brief, but it was a very successful event, and I think the first of more to come.
What was the purpose of the event? And I believe it is also co-sponsored with the Mayor Office of African Affairs.
Oh, absolutely. I that was a mistake not to mention them. Yes, the event took place at the Reeves Municipal Center, and the Office on African Affairs was one of the major supporters for the event. And it was really a Black History Month event, but the purpose was really to showcase Ethiopian culture, tradition, food, music, dancing, and some of the sights of Ethiopia as featured in my photo exhibition.
Very good, very good. I believe you were in Ethiopia recently?
Yes.
For how long?
I was there for 5 weeks.
Oh, good.
I wasn't planning to really talk about it today because I didn't bring pictures to illustrate the talk. I was hoping we could do that on a future show.
Yes, I promised you next week. Last week we missed because we were, okay, great. You're going to be talking about it in the future.
But I would like to say something a little bit about Adwa, and that is that in Ethiopia, one of my oldest and closest Ethiopian friends, a fellow named Yared Shumete, who is a film director and editor and historian, led something called Guzo Adwa, which was a trek from Addis Ababa all the way to Adwa, a distance of just over 1,000 kilometers. He began the trek while I was there in mid-January, and it took 45 days to walk all the way to Adwa, and they arrived in Adwa on the eve of the battle, and then they were there in Adwa on the anniversary of the battle to celebrate it. And this is the 4th year that they have done this trek, and hopefully by next week I'll have some pictures to show of that adventure.
That's amazing. This anniversary is the 122nd anniversary, which has brought a big impact in the relationship of Africans in the diaspora and in the continent, because it was a really a pleasant surprise for people of color to see a Black nation defeating an Italian power, the imperialists, we call them. As you know, in 1885, there has been a plot by 15 European countries, including the United States, to scramble Africa. And they were successful, and about 90% of Africa has been colonized. But with the grace of God, Ethiopia was successful to defeat the Italians, and that helped her establish as her sovereignty. So it's an amazing success. Excuse me, sir, do you have some of the pictures I sent you, a couple of pictures? If you put them, I can talk about that. Today, here, okay, these are some of the pictures, the stories we have put on our magazine, littleethiopia.org. If you can check it, it's called littleethiopia.org. On the picture you see in the middle is an article that came out on Washington Post discussing about the Black Panther. Black Panther is one of the most successful movie. It's almost got over $700 million since it started. So it has been believed that the movie has got some kind of inspiration from the Battle of Ottawa and Emperor Menelik II. Emperor Menelik II and his wife Empress Aitu went to battle on March 1, 1896, and the Empress has her own battalion for the fighting. So it's an amazing event. The last two pictures on below are news we put last month on the Black History Month. We celebrated Black History Month on February 19th. At the same time, also, we remembered over 30,000 Ethiopians who were massacred by General Graziani. You see his pictures in the two pictures. He ordered the massacre of over 30,000 in 3 days from February 19, 1937 to 1921 because an attempt was made to kill him by a bomb. So there's a lot of history behind there, how Ethiopians went through all these situations. Is that all you got, the picture? Oh, there it is. Okay, today we have two gentlemen who are going to play the wreath in front of the African-American Civil War. On the top is historian Hicks, and the lower one is Dr. Abebe Haragoyen. Both of them will play the wreath in honor of the African-American and Ethiopian patriots this afternoon, beginning from 3 o'clock to 2:05. So everybody is welcome at the African-American Civil War Memorial that is on 10th and Vermont Avenue. Is there anything you want to add, Ambassador?
I think you covered it.
All right. Are there any more pictures, or that's it? Okay, good. All right. If that's the case, let me give a little bit of briefing what's going to happen next on May. On May 5th, we have another event about the Meazza Hasaba. That is another important event where the Italians, fascist regime of Benito Mussolini in 1935 invaded Ethiopia and occupied in revenge of this war. So we are also celebrating that as the Pan-African Victory Celebration that's going to be held at the same location on May 5, 2018, and we like to people to mark those events. And so since our program is coming soon, I'm going to be leaving the stage for other speakers who will be covering for celebrity Patricia McDougall. Where are they? Where's the gentleman? Yeah, come on in. We're gonna let you go.
It's my turn?
Yeah, we want to introduce you for a second. If you just sit down for a second, and then we'll bring it. Just sit down next to them there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have a seat over there? Yeah.
That's gonna be a little way.
All right. Welcome impromptu to the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Well, give us who you are and what you'll be doing today. I think you are representing celebrity Patricia McDougall on today, right?
Yes, Tamrick, right?
Tamrat Medin, yes, Little Ethiopia.
Absolutely, and I remember meeting you at the Miss Africa USA pageant for 2016, 2017. I was a celebrity judge. But my name is Larry White Sr., CEO and founder of VIP Events Concierge. We're a local event planning and transportation services here in the DMV. And today I'm on the show. I brought some wonderful guests to talk about our upcoming event, which is a corporate leadership conference at Microsoft that will be happening April the 19th in Tyson's Corner. So I'm blessed to be here and got some special folks here that's going to join me on the panel later on here.
Fantastic. So if you don't have any objections, so we are going to leave for them. Ambassador, you have finished what you want to say?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good luck. So
All
I'm
right,
going to let you have your people on.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. And
Okay.
skills to pay the bills. I got my big brother Robert Antoine in here in the building. He said a great prayer for me. I thought I had enough leaving church, but he blessed me a little bit more forward. But the reason why I say skills to pay the bills because you're the person that wrote the check today for this to be aired. So we greatly appreciate you, Tamrick, for giving us an opportunity and a platform to talk about our business. Thank you so much,
Well,
sir.
business is very important for the community. You know, people have to know they should learn the technique and the strategies to
Absolutely.
be successful.
As-
We believe in that.
Not only are we sharing the mic today with some great folks, but to have the ability to have currency, money change multiple, especially in the African American community. We try to make sure that the money just doesn't stop with one person, but it changes hands multiple times for small business owners. Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Thank you,
We're
sir.
looking forward to work with you in the future.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
not going anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Okay. So would you please give us a break so we can take a picture with him, and then you can start the next couple of minutes.
Listen, vision, listen, vision. Listen, vision, listen, vision. Listen, vision, listen, vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Oh! Listen, vision, listen, vision.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Larry White Sr., CEO and founder of VIP Events Concierge, and I have some big shoes to fill today. Celebrity photographer Patricia McDougall could not be here today, so she blessed me with an opportunity to bring on some amazing folks. Could have did the show by myself, but that's just not how I'm cut. I had to bring some great folks up here. And so I'm going to come back to myself, but let me introduce the panel we have. To my immediate right, we have author Kimberly McLemore. Round of applause for Kimberly McLemore. And she's going to be talking about her book signing coming up March 17th and also another book fair on the 31st. And to her right, we have, you know, I'm used to being the most handsome guy on the show, but man, this guy shows up. Mr. Robert Antoinin, who is a business development, he will be a business development speaker for our corporate leadership conference at April 19th at Microsoft. So round of applause for Robert Antoinin.
Whoop, whoop.
All right, and then we talk about skills to pay the bills. And my kids, I brought my son here today in the studio. He says, "Dad, what do you do for a living? You work from home?" I said, "Well, I have to promote my business, so we're going on the radio." So I brought my son out today to show him that Doretha Evans really exists. So when that check came in the mail last night, electronically via PayPal, we had to show our signature sponsor some love and bring her on the show for the second week in a row. So shout out to Doretha Evans. Round of applause.
Awesome. Thank you.
And so now that we have the introductions out of the way, and I'm going to say one more thing about Doretha. Doretha brings 29 years of experience to our corporate leadership conference in Microsoft. And so she is definitely a person that's going to help us be better. So I'm going to start over to my right and start off with Kimberly McLemore. Kimberly, tell us what's going on, a little bit about yourself, and tell us about March 17th and also March 31st, how people can get involved, purchase your book, and come participate and also purchase the book.
All right. Well, as Larry said, my name is Kimberly McLemore. First, I'd like to say thank you for the opportunity to be on today's talk show. And just a little bit about myself. I'm not originally from the area. I'm from Davenport, Iowa originally, but I've been here for about, 14 years now.
Speaking to your mic there.
I've been here for about 14 years, and I'm currently have a business, of course, and called the Women's Small Business Initiative, and is an online platform for women where we provide resources for them to enhance their businesses, as well as if you're an aspiring business owner, you can share your resources on that platform. I also have my own podcast radio show on iHeartRadio called WSBI, Your Resource for Success podcast program. And then, of course, I'm the author of the memoir, Deception of the Heart. It's a real look into domestic violence. Currently, I have two book signings coming up. The one that's really important to me, of course, is the one that's coming up on the 17th of March. It is my very first public event. I've had some private ones, but this public event is actually sponsored by Hombre Bookstore and Artworks, and it's also sponsored by the Alexandria, Virginia Library, and it's going to be located at the Cape Waller Branch Library at 717 Queen Street in Alexandria, Virginia, from 3 to 4. Also, after that, we are going to have an actual networking program or time frame with everybody over at MGM Taps Sports Bar. So, but you can also purchase the book, which I would like for everybody, if they could, to purchase the book ahead of time from Hombre Bookstore, because, like I said, they are sponsoring this event for me, and I'm just real excited about that opportunity to.
I do want to just
share.
Chime in because we got some time.
Mm-hmm.
Before you go to the March 31st event, I want to just ask you: did you intentionally, Kimberly McLemore, have your book come out, the signing on the 17th? Because we are in Women's History Month.
No, and
Okay.
and ironically, I didn't even think about that at the time. It just happened to be when I was talking with the library. They're like, "Hey, we've got plenty of dates. Pick a date." So I picked that particular date, not really thinking about the fact that we're in Women's History Month. For me, having this book come out, I want to talk about the importance of domestic violence, not just once a year, which is usually in the month of October.
Sure.
And in October, I really want to focus on it throughout the whole year, because a lot of people don't understand how important it is that we don't celebrate it just for 1 month.
Sure. And we're going to come back to the March 31st event because I want to get Robert and Doretha in there. But shout out to all the women in the DMV and beyond for this. I mean, without strong African American women across the board, I salute you for telling your story because I know that's not easy. So I thank you for being an advocate for domestic violence. God bless you, and we're going to come right back to you.
Okay.
Mr. Robert Antonin, you came into my life physically for the first time for our 7th annual Black History Celebration and Empowerment, and you were very inspiring. The Lord aligned me with you because I was looking for a business development speaker, and just tell us a little bit about you, your business, and your experience, Robert Antonin.
Well, thank you, Larry, for having me here today. My name is Robert Antonin, and I am a speaker and a leadership coach. One thing that I love to teach people all around the country, whether they're just starting out in a leadership role or they're senior leaders, is how to effectively lead their staff. And one thing that's really important about the Washington, D.C. metro area is that it's such a transient area, Larry, where you can go anywhere and get a job for $40,000 to $50,000 per year. So with that being in mind, there's a level of apathy with the talent pool that leaders don't realize.
Sure.
And they think that once they give out the direction, once they give out the leadership, people will follow. Not true. SHRM has released a study that recently said that almost 60% of people that are in business or are in an employee situation, they're not happy where they are. 40% of them are ready to look for a new job in the upcoming year. So with that, I think that every leader needs to have some level of understanding, some level of connectivity, and be aware of what's happening with their talent pool and how to connect with their employees. So I usually teach from 4 basic principles. In order to be a great leader, you need to be a motivator,
Okay.
right? You also need to be a great facilitator. You need to be great at innovation and also with communication.
Sure.
And communication isn't always talking. It's more about listening and being in tune with what's happening and knowing when changes are occurring. But with the business development piece, from anybody that's in the private or government sector, they need to be aware of what's happening outside of their 4 walls. And when they see what's happening, they can either jump on the train or get out of the way of the train. But unless they know how to leverage relationships and have a pulse of what's happening in the marketplace, it's the only way that they'll maintain their competitive edge or at least keep up with what's happening with their competition.
Absolutely. We're going to take a small commercial break and come back, and at that time we will talk with our signature sponsor, Doretha Evans, a 29-year retired veteran from the United States Army. So we will be back in one moment. Now we are
Listen vision, listen vision.
Welcome back to the show. Man, you would think I do this for a living. I tell you, I'm really having a great time today. Robert is smooth, and he gives us some great information. We're going to come back to Robert. Now we'd like to go over to my far right, Doretha Evans. I've had an opportunity to worked with her and networked with her over the past 2 or 3 years. She was I was introduced to her by a fine young man by the name of Jason Foy. So she's our signature sponsor for our Corporate Leadership Conference at Microsoft, Tyson's Corner, where you just heard from Robert Antoine, our business development speaker. And this person here, Kimberly, she already purchased a ticket. So we're all going to be in the building on the 19th. But tell us a little bit, Doretha, about you, your business, why you decided to sponsor the event.
Well, again, good afternoon, Mr. White, and I remain humbled and honored to be able to be here, with this award-winning cast here. I don't know how I got the chance, but I'm gonna take advantage of it. Well, just as you stated a little bit about me, I'm a native of Detroit, growing up in the inner city, and I was blessed to be able to serve in the military for over 29 years. And as a senior leader, as Mr. Roberts stated, I think I'm quite familiar with the pinnacles of leadership. So when you gave me the opportunity to be able to speak about it, I said this is something I can do. Because again, to caveat on all the great points that Robert stated here, a leader is basically one who knows the way, shows the way, and goes the way.
Right.
You can't lead, from the back, is what we state. If you lead from the rear, you get shot in the back. That's what we said. In the military, that was what we used to state. And so I'm not afraid of an army of lions led by sheep, but I am afraid of an army of sheep led by lions. And that's what we want to bring about in this conference, to those that are aspiring to be entrepreneurs and those that are already entrepreneurs, to bring out the lion then. And it's just such a major platform that you're doing this on, and I know they will feel blessed after this conference as well. So I'm just truly honored.
Well, look, we have a all African American panel, and I'm blessed to have that. Not all African Americans are blessed to go into Microsoft with their brand and talk about business leadership. So I thank you for that. We got some amazing time, and we have caught. We got some more things we want to talk about. So as we get ready to talk about March 31st and some other great things, I want to ask you, Doretha, you have an event coming up March 10th. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how we can help you with March 10th?
Well, actually, Larry, that event will be on March 14th.
Oh, March 14th,
And
I'm
it's
sorry.
going to be at the BWI Hilton, that's 1739 Nursery Road. And here in the Maryland area, we have the honor to be able to host the co-founder and president of American Communications Network, Mr. Greg Provenzano. And people from all over in the DMV will be there because this gentleman and his co-founders, what they have developed, a global international company, and it's built on the pinnacle of being servant leaders. I mean, they're in partnership with Project Feeding America, and their mission is to end childhood hunger here in America. See, what a lot of people don't know, that there's over 17 million kids that go to bed every night without a meal. And being from the inner city of Detroit, I'm familiar with that. Yes, we had a home and things of that nature, but there were some times when the lights were out.
Sure.
There were times when we looked forward to those summer lunches, box lunches, bologna sandwiches and things of that nature. So again, as I state over and over again, service is the rent that we pay while we're here on earth.
Amen.
So being able to be a servant leader and give back to the community and being able to align myself with an organization like this was just truly a blessing. So again, you can be able to contact me because it's not just invitation only, but the fact of the matter is it's standing room only at this event. So you can contact me if you want to attend, on Yahoo, that's doretha.evans@yahoo.com. Additionally, that's dorethaevans11@gmail.com. And you can also call me at 410-533-5901. I will have your personalized VIP ticket waiting for you.
I will,
All right.
Doretha, thank you so much for sharing that. I will be there as well March 14th. And, for those millennials out there, wow, I haven't heard someone give out their phone number on live radio in some years. Social media here.
Do they exist, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
That's been a
absolutely.
minute.
So that just lets you know the commitment that Doretha has, that she really wants you to be there, and you can, call her directly and get that VIP invite. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about March 22nd, Cocktails and Conversations with Concierge Part 3. We will be at the National Harbor Tap Sports Bar, where we're just free networking event, free parking, and we just come in there with business mindsets to network, pass out our business cards, and gain clientele. I believe that if you're serious about if you're an introvert or extrovert, to get out in your comfort zone and go to a networking event and pass out some business cards. So March 22nd, Tap Sports Bar, and that's Cocktails and Conversations, and we will be there from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Larry White Sr. to get all the information. So looking forward to seeing everybody. Now I want to go back to author Kimberly McLemore to my right, that's going to talk to us about, she talked to you initially about her March 17th book signing, and then also she has another event coming up March 31st.
I do have another signing on March 31st, but it's actually connected with the Ujama Books Festival. It's called Ujama Book Festival, and that's also going to be in Alexandria, Virginia, at the Hilton Alexandria Mark Center. I want to make sure I got that part right. So that's also going to be from 11 to 5. I'm going to be with 30 to 40 other phenomenal authors from within the area and outside the area. So come out and visit me there. And if you can't make it on the 17th to learn more about the books, I will be there all day.
Absolutely. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge Kimberly McLemore as our Senior Vice President of Operations for the DMV Mastermind Group. She has stepped into that role and has been really, really intricate in helping me and the group, and I'm so blessed to have you. So shout out to you on that new position there, wearing about 4 hats. And we just brought on board Robert Antonin, who you'll be hearing from in a moment here, and he is our new Director of Business Development and Leadership, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, look, I got that right, you know. And
Say that 3 times.
And so we're blessed to have him because he's making us better, and preferably we all just make each other better. So let's go back over to Robert Antonin, who's going to talk to us a little bit about, because I didn't realize, Robert, that you were not only a speaker of leadership, but you're a trainer and a coach. So it looks like you can be hired to go out and do keynote speeches and help cultivate teams in corporate America. So tell us a little bit about everything, that how people can book you as a speaker, and it looks like you can train and all that good stuff.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Larry. I can be reached by email with my last name, Antonin. I'll spell that out, ANTOININ.Robert@gmail.com. And dare I say right now, I am available on all platforms. I won't say my phone number,
See, I have a
but
business
I'm
sign.
available on Instagram at my name, Robert Antonin. I'm available on Facebook, Robert Antonin. Believe it or not, Larry, about a year ago was my first dive into the pool of social media, and I did not realize what an inbox was until I kept getting these pings. Well, in the inbox were certainly some business opportunities to speak. So most of the people that I've booked or talked with or spoke to, usually it's from social media, but if anybody wants to reach out to me with the email piece, that is certainly something that I do welcome. I'm very, very accessible. I'm easy to work with, and I do understand how to work with budgets, with corporate leadership teams, if they're doing retreats, if it's people in the faith-based community, or somebody that's just starting out. The one plug I do want to say with the networking piece, you know, a lot of people, especially entrepreneurs, they think networking is a bad word because that requires the one thing that most of us don't like to do, and that is to sell. And I'm not that outgoing. I'm not talkative. I'm not smooth like you, Larry. I don't have a book like you, Kimberly. I'm sorry.
But it's coming. It's coming.
I get so excited.
Yeah,
Listen,
yeah.
But the main point is, you know, if you don't come to these networking events or maximize every chance that you have to make a human connection, you're missing out somebody who has the answer to your prayer, somebody who has the answer to your problem, somebody who can help you with connect you with the right venue, the person, whatever it is. The networking piece is so crucial, and that is why I try to make sure that I make myself available to anybody who's learning, just starting out, or help to augment and accent an existing business, how to maximize and leverage communications and relationships with people, because people is the number one asset that any leadership and or organization has. So that is the key to what I try to do. And in the interim, while we're doing all that stuff, Kimberly and Larry, I try to make sure we have fun. So I'm a comedian out of the group. I want to make sure that everybody understands that nobody wants to be a part of an environment where everything's drab and serious and regimented.
Absolutely.
You know,
You're
there's
right
got
on
to
that
be
one.
some kind of happiness that happens. Last thing I'll tell you is this. I was just speaking to a group. In fact, I shared this with my Toastmasters group as well. What is the one day of the week that everybody dreads and hates?
Monday.
Monday. Because you're a leader, you can make Monday fun day. and you can turn Monday into Popcorn Monday. And you can gather all your people in one place, get them together, and everybody can enjoy popcorn together. And that is the time where you make connections. That is the time when you find out about what's happening in someone else's life. Not everybody will buy into it at first, but if you stay consistent with it and you're intentional about making the connection and leveraging those relationships, you'll start to see the synergy that you need to have your business to grow.
Absolutely. Well, I use Mondays as my marketing Monday, Terrific Tuesday, Wild Out Wednesday, Throwback Thursday, Fantastic Friday, Sensational
now.
Saturday.
All right now.
So I'm with you. Now listen, let's go to a small commercial break. I did see Patricia McDougall, she chimed in. So everybody on the count of three say, Patricia, we love you. 1, 2, 3.
Patricia, we love you.
And we're going to go to a commercial break and we'll come out and close out this show. All right. So we can go to a commercial.
Listen vision, listen vision. Listen vision, listen vision. DC's #1 recording studio. Listen vision, listen vision.
Well, welcome back to the Patricia McDougall show. Celebrity photographer Patricia McDougall. We're speaking on her platform today, so shout out to Patricia McDougall. We thank you so much. So we're going to end the show in the next 5 minutes. So I have an opportunity to ask Kimberly McLemore a couple of business questions. If there was the one thing you could ask tell the listening audience, Kimberly, about starting a business and what made you start a business, what would you say?
The one thing I would say is do your research. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Make sure the community needs and values what it is you plan on bringing to the table, and do a business plan. There's so many people who feel they can just jump right into business and don't have a clue why they're doing it. And 90 days later, if you don't have that business plan, you will be out the door. I always highly recommend to any of my clientele, do your research, have a business plan, know your location, understand your purpose. Because not everybody is going to jump right in and give you what you think that you need.
Well, all right. I like that, and I took those golden nuggets on board. Ask me a question.
All right. Being that you're in the events arena. What advice would you give someone who is looking to start their own event planning organization?
Call me.
I knew you was gonna say that.
www.vipevents.
That's an easy one, right?
VIPeventsconcierge.com. And I mean that.
Hard.
I mean
Yes.
that so much. But bottom line, that's what my first book in July will be about, is the 5 successful ways of event planning. And much like Doretha's told me, I'm going to cut that down. But when the Lord delivers me the title, because I understand the pros and cons of event planning services, all right? When you get a date and a venue, that's half the battle right there.
That's right.
And then you just got to build it out from there, sponsorship and target audience. So I'm looking forward to it. So you definitely need to give me a call, because I've been battle tested. I think, what was it, Ephesians 5:6, putting on that whole armor of God.
Yes,
That's
sir.
it.
So at the end of the day, as we get ready to go over to these folks to keep our time going, I say that to say that I have understood event planning. Everybody like to do events, but are they really quality events? The fact of the matter is, when you do an event, you just don't do it, say you did it, but what's the impact that you reached people and leaving folks with just great stuff. So I'm looking forward to doing this Men Empowerment series with Dr. Willie Jolly and Robert Antoinette and some other folks. So if I can pull that one off in June, July with the tight schedule I have, but that's what we're looking at. It'll be a great game changer, because we always hear from the women. Y'all doing a wonderful job, and y'all,
Yes,
the
sir.
men
That's
need to
right.
step up. So I turn the time over to Doretha and Robert.
Well, again, it's a pleasure here, Robert. And I have the opportunity, because I know there are a lot of aspiring leaders out there, and a lot of people that know that they need your help. So if I would ask you, what is the number one pinnacle or number one trait in a leader that you believe will make a team more cohesive?
Well, there's certainly 4 pillars that I teach from, and if I had to pick one that probably stands out the most, is the communication piece, right? And being able to effectively not only speak, but have what you say be received. And I think that George Bernard Shaw said it best, that the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place.
I would definitely have to agree with you, because, in the military, there's 2 ways. There's the one that's giving the information, and you have to ensure that the person received the information and that they acknowledge that they received it. So I'm 100% agreeing with you there.
Yeah, and I'm sure most leaders wish they had a military type environment. Just do what I say, follow my instruction. But with this new talent pool, millennials, in my day with my parents and our 4 parents, they did things because they wanted to do a good job. They worked in jobs for 20 and 30 years. That was the measuring stick for being a successful employee and or employer. But with millennials and this new generation, it's such a transient, there's no loyalty. And the one thing that inspires a person to stay, obviously, is compensation and pay. But the one secret ingredient is, what is my leadership like, or what is my leader like? That is what will keep me around. That is what will get my best effort. And the last thing that I will say, which will be 1A, will be finding the right team, making sure you surround yourself with very, very strong people. And it's okay if you're not the smartest one in the room. If you are the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong group.
Right, you
and
need
you need to
another
bring
group.
some people to help to level you up.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I would caveat, the military, we have transformed. That was the old days of the military, it's due, as I say. But as you corrected the audience, as a drill sergeant with the millennials, I couldn't just say just attack the hill, because someone's
Right.
going to say why.
They wanna
So
why,
we
yeah.
had to creatively form because I said so. That doesn't work anymore. So we're more creative with that as well.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
1 minute, everybody.
And the last thing that I will just say is that the scriptures say that when 2 or 3 are gathered and they're on the same accord, that beautiful things happen. In the world, they say they call that synergy. But I'm a faith-based man, so I believe that the Lord will show up and show out on your behalf once you get the team and you're all on the same page and you're marching up the same hill in the same direction.
I tell you, I cannot wait to this leadership conference. It is going to be so fabulous and awesome. So we definitely want to make sure that you come out and join us. You don't want to miss it.
Absolutely.
Well, look, we're going to close out, and thank you again, Patricia McDougall. I see you are chimed in. We thank you so much. We talk about the millennials, but look, I'm 49 years of age, and we're going to leave you with this one. We are representing Generation X.
That's
All
it.
right?
Whoop,
So
woo!
we're
Just
in
get it.
between
Let's
the
get it.
baby boomers
right.
and the millennials.
It is
So
time for your
y'all-
blessings. So
Y'all
come and get your
enjoy.
blessing.
God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. And shout out to
you.
these producers
Thank you.
here at Listen Vision.
Have a
Y'all are
wonderful day.
amazing. Amen. God bless you.
Amen.
Amen.
All right.